project.
Hang on!
Look into it. That's
For
what this is
goodness
about.
sake,
A
answer.
genocidal government. You guys
Let
make
him
me
answer.
sick.
Okay, don't all start talking, otherwise I'm going to literally give up.
This panel gets absolutely off the rails. Emotions are incredibly high. He has Anna Kasparian on. I think the other one is Dinesh D'Souza, an Israeli propagandist and an Iranian spokesperson as well. This conversation, I'll let it play out and then I'll have some words about it. But clearly, the people on the panel make up the dynamic, obviously, of how it sort of unfolds. Anna has been getting more and more passionate about this particular issue, regardless of what you might think her stance or her shifting on other things. She feels very strongly about this. She gets very emotional. It turns into a screaming match at some point. And while I disagree somewhat to the extent at which she's interrupting and sort of screaming and losing her cool, I do in a way understand it, because these people need to be, I don't want to say these people need to be silenced, but the emotion, people need to understand that there are people that really truly care about this and how serious this issue is, especially for Palestinians who don't have a voice at all. And so you hear that coming through in Anna's vibe in this video. Otherwise, just this segment is just totally off the rails. I'll let you guys, see for yourself, but just try to make of it what you will. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of how Anna handled this situation, and just the general conversation in a whole.
Is that you end up sounding like you're siding. Hang on one second, please. Please allow me to talk to different members of the panel. Is it that on the left you end up sounding like you're shilling for a vile regime? The Iranian regime oppresses women. Well, hang on. Hang on. Is it they oppress women?
I know what you're going to say. I know. I hate the regime in Iran.
Right.
I hate the regime.
So why wouldn't you want it changing?
I hate the mullahs. There are Armenians living in Iran right now who hate the mullahs. Okay, but regime change should not be spurred by the United States and Israel, which wants to install a puppet government on their behalf. And by the way, the Iranians know that. They know that. Polling indicates the vast majority of them want regime change. They don't want it to be done by Israel. You have to be clear about that, because I think there's an intentional misframing or false framing of what's happening in Iran right now and what the population actually wants. Now, with that out of the way, my issue, Piers, is that the United States has been expending its resources and has been essentially sending its soldiers to die in wars on behalf of Israel, a country that goaded us into invading Iraq on a false pretense of weapons of mass destruction. 4,000 of our soldiers died in Iraq. You didn't send a single IDF soldier. Not one IDF soldier was sent to Iraq. Our soldiers died on your behalf, Kunrikis, on your country's behalf.
Not at all.
And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. You guys are committing a genocide right now, yet you're a nuclear power that's not in the non-proliferation agreement. Why? Why is that? How come you guys get to play by completely different rules? You're genocidal. You're disgusting. The world sees you guys for what you are.
Let him
answer. The people of Israel
Let him answer.
hate the government of Israel.
Let him
You're
answer.
a genocidal government. You guys
Let
make
him
me
answer,
sick.
Anna.
You make me sick.
So deep.
Let him
You
answer.
make me sick.
Let him
The
answer.
entire international community looks at your government
Let him
and
answer.
gets sick even thinking about it.
We know that he makes you sick, but let him answer.
For God's sake, we're trying to have a conversation here.
The history
and I'm trying
books
to
will write
answer
about
what you're
your
saying,
government
but you're
the
not
way
even
that Americans read about the
acknowledging me
Nazis
as
today.
a
Trust
person.
me.
Instead of just
Modern-day
screaming
Nazis.
at me and looking like a
Modern-day
lunatic
Nazis.
who just keeps on screaming at
Right.
other people, could you for a
I
second
speak on
allow
behalf
me
of
to
all
say
those
two
children who are now
sentences?
orphaned.
No,
all
you
those
don't
children
speak
who
on
were
behalf of
born
anybody
in
but
Gaza,
yourself.
in an
You weren't
open-air
elected.
prison,
You don't
and had to
represent
die in
anybody.
Gaza
You're a
because of
talk
your
show host and you
disgusting,
don't represent
belligerent
anybody.
military.
You've
Yeah.
never stood for anything. You've
Genocidal.
never fought for anything. You're a talk show
Genocidal.
host and you don't represent anybody.
international
And the fact
community
that
sees
you
you for
think
what
that
you
it's
are.
effective to accuse me of all kinds of nonsense and you think that that will rattle me, I'm sorry
No,
to disappoint you.
everyone knows.
Many and better
you know
people
too.
before you have tried, and they have all
Right.
failed. But let me tell you something. your hatred
let me say
is
it
so
in a way
showing.
that you'll understand.
Your
The
hatred
international
of
community
Israel
looks
is
at people like
blinding
you, and they say
You're not able to
terrorists, okay?
distinguish
That's what they
between
see.
different
Terrorists.
situations,
You're
and
a
you
terrorist.
find yourself supporting a genocidal
Endless
regime
numbers
just
of
out of
children
your burning
slaughtered
hatred
at the
towards
hands of the
Israel.
IDF and the
I
Israeli
think that
government.
is so
Can I ask you a
compelling for
question?
people to see
I
how
hate
you
the government of
behave.
Israel.
Okay, don't all start talking,
I
otherwise I'm going to
despise the
literally
government
give
of
up.
Israel.
All right, let me
Despise
just
it.
look. Let me
And
go.
I feel bad for the people of
Let
Israel
me
who are now
let me
under
go
threat.
back. Hang on. Many people, Jonathan, also think there
Greater
should be.
Israel
Hang
Project,
on.
look into it. That's
For
what this is
goodness
about.
sake. Many people, Jonathan, also think there should be regime change in Israel because of what it's been doing in Gaza. So there's a lot of talk
Well,
of
that's
regime
called
change
elections,
generally.
Piers.
Yeah, well, okay, but
Yeah, but that's called elections.
Sure.
And I have many friends. I have friends and family who feel the same way, and I have others who feel differently. And luckily for Israel, luckily for us who live here, and luckily for the 2 million Arabs who live in Israel, Israel is a democracy, and we get to vote, and we get to vote what we like. Currently, we have a government who I think is definitely should be criticized for many things and how it has managed those situations since October 7. But I think the government and the Prime Minister has done a very brave and
That's
good
a
thing for the
long
future
rant.
of the region
Okay.
in attacking Iran.
okay, let me give the final word to our Iranian guest. Over to you, Kavi, for your final word here.
Well, Mr. Morgan, it is abundantly clear that two nuclear armed states are ganging up on another state, the regional rival, using a lame excuse of proliferation in order to cause regime change, partly because Iran is part of a new multipolar world, a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, part of the BRICS nation, and the United States has been seeking a rollback of the historic Iranian Revolution for 46 years, and now are seizing on this opportunity in a very systematic fashion, using their mouthpieces, such as your guests here, in order to provide the stage setting for this rollback strategy. And all these spinners like the warmonger, who Mr. Trump himself labeled as a warmonger, who didn't like a war that, didn't start in the world, is not cheering Mr. Trump because Mr. Trump is implementing his script for regime change in Iran. This is a travesty of international law, a violation of the UN Charter. Most of the world leaders have condemned it. And Iran, by the way, has paralyzed Israeli.
Actually, I don't think that's true.
Israel's economy is paralyzed.
They haven't condemned
I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true that most world leaders have condemned it at all.
Financial hemorrhage, and hundreds of Iranian missiles have landed in Israel and have penetrated the paper dome, which you call Iron Dome. And you talk about regime change. Go look at the destructions in Tel Aviv that's making Tel Aviv into another Gaza.
Let's talk again in 6 months and let's hear what you say then. Let's talk again in 6 months.
I'm going to leave it there.
Let's talk in 6 months.
Israel, the tiny inconsequential
Let's talk in 6 months and we'll see.
I've got to end it there because honestly, I am completely and utterly.
You are hallucinating.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm hallucinating. I am hallucinating.
Just the other day.
I am hallucinating.
Regime change.
Okay.
The only regime change will be the genocidal.
Okay.
That's the only regime change.
I am hallucinating. I'm exhausted. I'm bringing it to an end. Thank you all very much.
All right. Holy shit. Yeah, like I said, that conversation is absolutely wild. Obviously, it makes sense that it would be so. A couple of notes. I mean, obviously, the ending there gets weird when you have the Iranian gentleman. Forgive me, I don't know his name. And the chief Israeli propagandist sort of just going back and forth, talking shit, wait in 6 months, and your Iron Dome is made of paper, like we're gonna turn Tel Aviv into Gaza, and all these that's sort of horrific language. Anyone can sort of say that. But just sort of disgusting stuff on both sides there, you really don't want to hear that, but that's the state of affairs that we're in. Before that, he was actually making some very good points about just the reality of the situation. As far as one point, Piers at one point is asking like Anna, hey, it seems like everybody hates this regime in Iran. Why shouldn't the U.S. Go and change that regime? Wouldn't it make sense to go and change that regime? And it's like, yeah, but that's not our job. You know, like that's not our fucking job. That's a sovereign country. We don't have any jurisdiction over what they do with their country. And the US has been toppling countries for decades and failing to do so, mostly just causing more chaos in the fallout than anything beneficial. So everyone they keep trying to redo and remake the Germany and the Japan situation. Unfortunately, that time period is just completely different than what we're dealing with now. The circumstances were different. Everything is different, and it's just not going to happen. So this fairy tale that the U.S. can just go in with our unlimited resources and just solve every problem in the world, that's over. That's done. That's totally a thing of the past. That's fairy tale. So for Pierce to just be like casually bring that up as if we don't have the historical precedent to show that that's a complete failing mentality and it's just going to waste more U.S. resources, taxpayer money, lives, cause chaos, etc. It's just absolutely it just blows my mind that we still exist in this world where we can't just come to simple realities, simple understanding, or just stop asking these ridiculous, stupid questions. Anyway, insanity, just utter, complete insanity. Let me know what you guys think about all of that, and I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, help the channel grow, and I'll try to stay on top of the latest and the greatest. Peace out.